What in the world did we just watch? You know, everybody was worried about these showcases with the state of play being disappointing and Summer Games Fest also not hitting the mark. But Xbox came with guns blazing. They cooked, as the kids say. And what did we just watch? Well, we just watched the best Xbox showcase in a very, very long time, possibly ever. What is going on, everybody? This is Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with another video. Hyped to the moon after watching, digesting, and talking about this Xbox showcase. Nobody was out there earlier in the week trying to temper expectations, as sometimes Xbox likes to do. They like to manage people's expectations, like, oh, don't get too excited. But they didn't do any of that this year, and for good reason, because they basically unloaded all the bullets from their gun. This was, without a doubt, one of the best showcases that Xbox has put on, and quite frankly, one of the best showcases I've ever seen. I mean, our boy Jeff Keighley does a poll after every single one of these things, and it's like 68% A right now, which is unheard of. So the sentiment around the internet is that Xbox delivered in a huge way, and there's so much here. Like, when you actually break it down, Doom the Dark Ages, Perfect Dark, Gears of War E-Day, nobody, and I mean nobody, was talking about a Gears prequel. Everybody assumed it was going to be Gears 6, continuation of Kate's story, or potentially a Gears collection. That wasn't there either. I have never heard a single person talk about how the next Gears game, mainline from the Coalition, was going to be a prequel. I was legit shocked, right? But that's even like all these other games that were here. It's crazy. We're going to go over everything. I'm going to highlight in depth some of the things I loved about the show. So if you guys can do me a huge favor, hit the like button. Please subscribe if you're new, as I'm trying to get back into making videos. Everybody kind of was debating earlier in the week what would open the show. I thought it was going to be Perfect Dark, but they couldn't pass up the opportunity, and we have Call of Duty Black Ops 6 opening up the show, and it looks really good. Honestly, as a person who is more of a Modern Warfare guy, I do enjoy Black Ops, just not to the level of Infinity Ward's game. But the trailer combined with that Prodigy music, and it's like teasing a lot of mysteries and stuff. The first Call of Duty to be in development for 4 years. Yeah, they let off the show, as well as having a Call of Duty Direct. You know what? I wasn't even paying attention during the Call of Duty Direct anyways, because my mind was just trying to process everything I had just witnessed. The fact that Gears of War is having a prequel, and that we saw Fable again. Like, at that point, I was like, I don't even care about Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I need to think about all this other stuff. So Call of Duty led off the show. Phil immediately came on the stage to talk about how this time it's different. Everybody's going to be able to play the game at the same time. The same versions, the betas go to everybody, you know, because in recent years, it's always PlayStation that had it first. And then he introed the second game, which any other showcase would literally be the thing everybody talks about, would literally be the game that ended the show. It would be the one more thing, because it's that huge. We have Doom the Dark Ages, and what an incredible trailer. Oh my lord, seeing all those huge-ass demons, seeing the Doom Slayer with a shotgun and a shield, a freaking shield. What the hell? You can use it to parry enemies, throw it around as a weapon? My mind is just going crazy with the amount of possibilities you can do. I will say the color palette was a little muted in comparison to Eternal. Going to that brown aesthetic, maybe that's something to do with the Dark Ages. Dude, you can play as the mech. You can fly around one of those beasts. It was everything I wanted to see. Gameplay focused, as Doom usually is. And best thing about it, it's coming next year, 2025. You don't have to wait very long. It's probably, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be early next year, but 2025 is going to be a massive year. Doom the Dark Ages. Then we saw a game that we haven't seen since 2020, State of Decay 3, and I gotta say, big visual improvement. They were kind of cutting in between gameplay and little cinematics and stuff, and it looked good. Highlighting the co-op aspect. Somebody died, and they kind of took the toy with them to go on to the next thing. But that was a really, really good trailer. I don't know when it's going to come out, unfortunately, because no date given. And I guess if you wanted to nitpick some of the decisions made in this showcase, there was a lack of dates for a couple things. Starfield Shattered Space didn't have a date. Avowed didn't have a date. And Indiana Jones didn't have a date from Xbox Game Studios. So even though some of those are coming this year, you might say it's a little disappointing. Hopefully they still do come this year. And no announcement about Xbox Game Pass stuff from Activision Blizzard. I don't know if maybe we'll get those later in the month or sometime in the future. But other than that, I don't know how many more nitpicks you can have, because everything was fantastic. The pacing was perfect. Xbox showed 17 of their first-party games here. Who else has done that in recent years? Nobody. Who else has really done that in history? Probably no one. Well, maybe Nintendo, because that's what Nintendo does. But 17, this is what Xbox and Phil and everybody's always talked about. When the dominoes are starting to stack up, you got Xbox Game Studios, the 15 studios there, combined with Bethesda, combined with Activision Blizzard and everything they bring to the table, right? Once you kind of start the dominoes falling, you can see it, and we're in for an incredible probably next 2, 3, 4 years with the amount of projects that they're working on. The show was just littered with it, and I'm sure everybody's going to have their own highlight. Some will talk about Fable, some will talk about Doom, others will talk about South of Midnight, more will talk about the surprise of Gears of War, and even some of the other third-party stuff, like Expedition 33. There was something here for everybody. I can't even put into words how I'm feeling right now, other than super excited and really happy. So after State of Decay 3, we got a trailer. Pretty good trailer, too, for Dragon Age The Veilguard. I think it's coming this year. I haven't played a Dragon Age game since the first one, so I want to see a little bit more of it. We have the trailer for Starfield Shattered Space. I really like Starfield. I don't care what anybody says about the game. It's like, oh, it's a 7, it's a 6. Not for me, it wasn't. I don't care. Those are your opinions. You can have them. I really enjoyed my time with Starfield. I can't wait to play Shattered Space. And it looked fucking fantastic, too. The color schemes, like the pinks and purples they were using, finding more out about House Faroon. I mean, sign me up. Not to mention that the shadow drop was, hey, you can play some new stuff today, the mods and the creation kits and all those sort of things. The only bad thing, I guess, was that we don't have an official date yet for it. It's coming sometime this year. Maybe we get it at Gamescom, but I really like that trailer. And of course, it wouldn't be at an Xbox show without some live service stuff, and Fallout's the biggest IP in the world because of the TV show, and they ran a trailer for Fallout 76 Skyline. I don't know. I don't really care about Fallout 76. You get to play as the ghoul, apparently. 20 million players have played Fallout 76, so people really are interested in it, just not me. And then we have the first big surprise from third party, a game that initially I was like, what is this? I don't know. And it turned out to be like a turn-based, rhythm-based RPG called Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Now, I'm not much of an RPG guy, but the way that game was presented with the camera movements and stuff and the like rhythm-based precision, I don't know. I might have to write that game in as something I'm super interested in coming to Game Pass day one, which is another thing about this show. Virtually everything was coming to Game Pass day one, except for like Dragon Age and Assassin's Creed and stuff. So it was a big Game Pass show, and it really should be, because you're dropping Call of Duty on there day one. A lot of new eyes are going to be on Xbox because of that. So super surprised about Expedition 33, and that's why I sort of love these shows. When you sit down and watch them and you see a game you've never even heard of, and it just really ignites your imagination, right? I just hope that whenever that game does come out, it's really good. Because sometimes it does suck to really be excited about something, and then it comes out and it's not what you expect, and it's like a stinking pile of, you know what I mean. But moving on from that, we have South of Midnight. Now, I wasn't expecting it to be there. I thought it would be at the Direct early next year. But we got a long look at this game, cutscenes and everything, the stop motion and gameplay. We got a nice gameplay segment. Honestly, look, I've been kind of down about Compulsion. I really, at the time when Microsoft purchased them, didn't know why. Like, what do you need Compulsion for, Xbox? We Happy Few wasn't very good. Well, it wasn't good at all, in my opinion. And Contrast was, But holy crap, my opinion is totally flipped on South of Midnight and Compulsion, because what I saw there was way more than I ever expected. You know, like 3D moving environment, just the way everything, she flew, the combat, when you beat the enemy, all the flowers sprouted around, the music, like they are nailing could this be a banger when it comes out? And everybody uses the word banger, but I couldn't be more impressed with South of Midnight, honestly. Like, that is up there with one of the best things I saw at the show. Then we got a CGI trailer from Blizzard, who makes incredible CGI trailers for World of Warcraft: The War Within. I'll never play it, but I'm sure all my World of Warcraft homies in the chat can't wait. That's coming out August 26th. Not to mention, I think I even forgot to mention that South of Midnight's coming in 2025. So that's coming early next year. Doom is coming in 2025. No date for State of Decay 3. Fable's coming in 2025. I mean, that's three pretty damn... I mean, I don't know if you would describe South of Midnight as a huge game, but Doom and Fable, those are two massive games coming next year. So, like, dude, 2025 is looking stacked. After that, we got a look at Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, pretty much all gameplay, a couple cinematics thrown in there. Man, when I tell you that Metal Gear Solid 3 is one of my favorite games ever, I ain't lying. So watching this, it was almost like being transported back in time to when that game came out. And, you know, I wasn't really down with the idea of a remake, and I think some of the earlier trailers didn't really do the game justice, but seeing this, seeing David with the voiceover, the graphics and everything you can do, holy crap, did this game jump up in my estimations. I don't know when it's coming, probably next year, but I loved what we saw. We got a trailer for Sea of Thieves. It's always at an Xbox show every single year. Season 13 coming like July 25th. I don't really care, but it's doing big numbers on PlayStation and elsewhere. That's why it's always here. We got another look at Flintlock from the makers of Ashen. This trailer was actually a lot better than the first trailer they showed a couple years ago. It's kind of a Souls-light, and it's actually coming in July. It really piqued my interest. I want to play the game now. Another Xbox Game Studios. You know, like I said, 17 of these suckers. We have Age of Mythology Retold. I'm not much of an RTS dude. I know a lot of people love the Age of Mythology series. This is the remake, and it's coming on September 4th. And then we got our first look at Perfect Dark gameplay. What exactly is the game? They've been quiet for quite some time, right? Haven't seen it since Game Awards 2020. But here we are. And I don't know, it gave off immersive sim vibes. I don't know if anybody wanted to agree with me in the comments below, but it kind of gave me a little Deus Exy vibes. A little stealth action going around, first person, very beautiful colors. Parkour that seemed to be lifted kind of from Dying Light or Mirror's Edge, getting around. Hopefully that's what you do throughout the whole game. And the combat looked fun. The combat looked great. We'll have to wait and see, but I liked what we saw of Perfect Dark. No date given. I'm assuming that'll probably be a 2026 title. We had another Blizzard cinematic, Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred. Blizzard knocks it out of the park with these cinematics all the time. Now, I'm not much of a Diablo fan. I did enjoy Diablo 4, playing through the campaign. Am I going to play this one? We'll have to wait and see. I will play the Shattered Space DLC for Starfield because I actually like that game quite a bit in the gameplay. Diablo 4, to me, sometimes feels tiresome after a while. Maybe I'll play it for the story, maybe not. I'm not really sure. But the cinematic was great, and that's hitting on October 8th. Then, like, we're going back to back. We get into Fable. And I know last year people were debating, oh, it's not going to look that good. Oh, it's not gameplay, right? Well, I mean, they're proving everybody wrong again because we got a large look at the world, clearly gameplay, some combat in there, more story stuff. Loving everything they're doing with Fable here. Talking about the choices of life and death and all the sort of things that you would want from a game like this. All the British humor, too, without being over the top. No fart jokes, no kicking the chickens and stuff. Fantastic trailer. If they nail Fable, Playground Games that is, they have to be hailed as one of the best developers in the business. If they can do Forza Horizon and take that franchise to the top of the racing genre, nothing touches it. Nothing. And then to do an action RPG, and if they do that well, I mean, who's better than Playground at that point? Absolutely fantastic showing for Fable. Then we sort of get into a run of third-party games here, coming to Game Pass and stuff. We got a 5v5 hero shooter Fragpunk. I don't know why those are now back in vogue, but apparently they are. We got a game Winterboro. Another game, Mixtape, that definitely, I dig the art style. I don't know what the game's going to be, but it definitely at least interested me. It's got some cool music. So we'll check that out whenever it comes out in 2025, coming to Game Pass. We also got a trailer for Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. And yes, it is coming out this year, November 19th. Seems to be more gamey this time around. Like there's little careers that you can do, like ambulance stuff. The trailer is really well done, and Asobo has done a great job with the franchise. I'm just not really that interested in flying planes around. But for anybody that is, you'll be able to play it later this year. We got another trailer for Elder Scrolls Online with some content, I believe, coming July 18th, the Gold Road or something. I don't really play the game. This was a surprise. Square Enix showed up, but not with Final Fantasy 16 or any of that stuff, but with a brand new Life is Strange game out of nowhere. With Max Caulfield returning, the original protagonist from the first game, and you're kind of investigating a murder, your friend dies, but you can kind of go into a parallel universe where she doesn't die. So it's kind of a murder mystery. Sign me up. I'm a fan of the Life is Strange games. That is coming October 29th. Then we got a pretty long look at Indiana Jones, and I think people would be talking more about Indiana Jones if they didn't sort of spill all the details and give us a long look at it at the Dev Direct all the way back in January. Because a lot of the footage they reused here, and it was basically just a long cutscene of Indiana Jones, on a battleship in the snow. I don't really think it showed very well because of that, but either way, Machine Games, they're amazing. I can't wait to play this. No date on it. Still supposed to be coming in 2024, as the trailer said. But I sort of feel, because we've already seen most of the gameplay, that nobody's really talking about Indy as much as they're talking about all these other games. If this was the first time we saw Indy and it was the stuff we saw earlier in the year, I think people would be really shouting from the rooftops about that game. We got a Gundam-style mecha game called Mecha Break, very fast-paced. Reminds me a lot of Armored Core 6. Supposed to be coming out next year. I mean, it's a damn gamey game. Looks pretty cool. And then one of these Souls-like games that seem to be a dime a dozen nowadays with some really grotesque enemy designs. And I don't really know what to say. I mean, it looks cool for sure. Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. But there's a lot of games like this now. It's because everybody loves Dark Souls and everybody loves Elden Ring. So they want to create their own. So this game, it's tough for games in this genre to really stand out. Although I think it did an okay job of that. We'll see what it's like when it comes out, I believe, next year. Avowed showed up with another trailer. And it's sometimes tough for Avowed to really kind of showcase what it is, because Obsidian games are all about the dialogue and the consequences of choice. Although this trailer, I thought, did okay. It wasn't the best one. They did show more variety of the enemies and more combat, but it was a quick, fast trailer. And I think it was sort of sandwiched between all the other amazing games that were in the press conference. When you think about it, it's sort of towards the bottom. Supposed to come out this year, but no trailer, so I guess maybe we'll see it at Gamescom. Rebellion showed up with their new game coming to Game Pass. These are developers of Sniper Elite, and they brought us Atomfall. I'm not really sure kind of what it is, but I'm sure it's going to play kind of very similar to their other games, like Zombie Army Trilogy and stuff. So I'll keep that, marked off. I'll probably play it, but it's not something, when you think about the games in the show, this was more towards, the bottom in terms of impact, at least for me. We got a first look at gameplay for Assassin's Creed Shadows. We got to see both characters, the samurai gameplay, as well as the stealthy gameplay. I don't know, I was digging it. I like the fact that it's in Japan. It looks cool. I haven't played an Assassin's Creed in a while. Okay, that's not true, because I did play Mirage, but that doesn't really count, because this is supposed to be more of similar to Origins and Odyssey and Valhalla, and I haven't played one of those since Odyssey, so I'm kind of interested in this quite a bit. Stalker 2 hit the stage, and we got another trailer with the release date on September 5th. It looks really good, man. I've never played a Stalker game, though, so I'm not sure if I'm going to like it. I hear it's pretty hardcore, but the graphics look great. It looks, I don't know, I get like Metro vibes when I see the trailer, and I kind of imagine how much I like Metro. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll really enjoy Stalker. So hopefully that's the case. It's coming on September 5th. Early September seems to be absolutely jam-packed for games. And we're coming to the end here, because Sarah Bond came back on stage, and she talked about some hardware. We got a white Series X coming out this year, all digital. We got another Series S that's like 1 terabyte, but in white, because the 1 terabyte one right now is currently in black. And then we got a black Series X 2 terabyte, which I believe is going to retail for $599, which is... The thing about this generation is the components haven't gone down in price as much as you think, and the systems are all the same price that they launched it in 2020. Like, the Xbox Series X and S, at least the X, should be $399, if not $350 at this point, and they're just not. This new white Series X all digital is going to start out at $449, but everything just is, the prices of everything are kind of out of whack. I don't know about that. Are you interested in hardware? Let me know in the comments. They did not tease the handheld like some people had thought, but we did get one more here. One more thing, and I couldn't be more happy with what it was. I mean, we knew it was going to be Gears related. Even the little title card that said Xbox Game Studios was tinged in red. You knew it was Gears. There had been rumors out there about a Gears collection or Gears 6, and none of it was right. Absolutely none of it was right, which is great. A surprise, a legit surprise for once. And you're watching this trailer, and you're like, wait a minute, that's Marcus, but he's certainly not old Marcus. And they're having a really knockdown, drag-out fight between the Locust and Marcus with fantastic usage of Mad World, the piano, the melody behind it, which is, if you guys know, Mad World is the music that they used for the original Gears of War trailer, probably the best all-time video game trailer ever. They were using it in soft piano undertones. And I was like, what is going on here? Is this the Gears collection? Why is this young Marcus? And then young Dom shows up, and as you know, he's no longer alive. So I was like, wait a minute, this isn't Gears 6 clearly. Is it a flashback of some kind from Gears 6? And the trailer ends with the two best friends, Dom and Marcus, looking over a ruined city with a bunch of red, hellish red colors kind of erupting from the ground. Title card just says Gears of War, E-Day. And I about lost my mind, because at that point I reeled, holy crap, it's a prequel. And then I thought to myself, hell yeah. Emergence Day? Sign me the fuck up. Hell yeah, I want to play Emergence Day with Gears. You know, and I was somebody who's always been talking about, like, oh, they need to let Gears breathe, which they have, right? We haven't had a game since 2019. And, sure, I'm interested in the storyline with Kate and everything going on here, but you're talking about going back to 2006 when Gears of War 1 came out. Marcus Phoenix and Dom, going even back before that to Emergence Day, to the stories we heard in the games of what it was like. And now we're going to experience that in a game? Like in all the next generation sort of stuff they can do on the hardware? I didn't even know this is something I wanted until they gave it to me. I was shocked. So much so that when they started doing the Call of Duty Direct, I didn't even care. Because I was like, wait, oh my God, E-Day? I couldn't be more happier with that, honestly. Like, I'm sure I would have been excited for Gear 6, but this just took it to another level. This whole show took everything to another level. I don't care what anybody says. You're entitled to your opinion. If you thought this show was a 2 out of 10 or a 4 out of 10, hey, more power to you. Randall Thor 19 fucking loved this show. I would give it a 10 out of 10. It's probably realistically a 9.5 out of 10 because there weren't dates for Indie and Avowed and stuff. But, I mean, Doom looked incredible. Fable looks like an all-timer. Maybe I'm being overly optimistic, but just the stuff here between South of Midnight and Perfect Dark, Gears of War E-Day, I could go on and on. Shattered Space. It was all really good. There's only a couple games here that I just kind of breezed over and have no interest in. Clearly, I don't know. This is by far the best show Xbox has put on. And I think we're all in for a treat in the next few years because there's so many studios working on so many games. We're going to be able to play them. It's going to be great. They're all in day one Game Pass. Sure, some of them will come to PlayStation 5. Does that something that bother you? If it is, I don't know what else to say other than just enjoy the games. Play it where you want to play it. Am I happy about it? Not really. But I'm not really thinking about that right now because right now I'm thinking about this show and all the cool shit I got to see and all the cool shit I'm going to be playing in the next couple years. Absolutely fantastic from top to bottom. No notes, Phil. No notes. That's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a long one. I can already see it's about 30 minutes long. Hopefully I can shave off some time here to get it more manageable. But yeah, let me know what you think. What would you rate the show? Let me know in the comments below. And yeah, like, subscribe, all that stuff. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.